Hi there, I'm David from DEB Chartered Accountants. No sooner had the Chancellor introduced the idea of the Job Support Scheme as part of the measures announced in the Winter Economy Plan and as the schemes to supersede the Job Retention Scheme, then the situation relating to the spread of coronavirus got markedly worse. In the face of this, it became evident that the original proposals, which were aimed at scaling back state aid to support employment, were simply not enough. Thus, the government had to react by expanding the scheme to provide cover for those businesses that would be forced to close down due to coronavirus preventative measures. We thus need to look at effectively two schemes. Firstly, the Job Support Scheme as originally conceived, and then the extension to it that has just been announced. The Job Support Scheme is designed to protect viable jobs in businesses who are facing lower demand over the winter months due to COVID-19, and to help keep employees attached to the workforce. The scheme will open on the 1st of November 2020 and run for 6 months. The employers will continue to pay its employees for time that they actually work. But the cost of the hours not worked will be split between the employer, the government through wage support, and the employee through a wage reduction. And as a consequence, it's hoped that employees will be able to keep their jobs. Employers using the Job Support Scheme will also be able to claim the Job Retention Bonus if they meet the eligibility criteria. Please watch our other video that covers this. Under the Job Support Scheme, the government will support eligible businesses to enable them to pay 2/3 of each employee's salary up to a maximum of £2,100 a month. Employers of all sizes will be eligible for the new scheme, but large organisations will need to demonstrate that their turnover is reduced as a result of COVID-19. It's understood that the cut-off will be 250 or more employees. Eligible employees will be those on the payroll at the 23rd of September 2020 that are working at least 33% of their usual hours. The employees will be entitled to 2/3 of their usual pay for hours not worked. And the government will pay a grant of 1/3 of the usual pay for the hours that are not worked. The maximum grant will be £687.92 a month. At the moment, all that's been issued is a fact sheet. We are told that more detailed guidance will be provided later. To be eligible for the grant, the employee must be working at least 1/3 of their usual hours. It's assumed that this means that the employees must have been included in a full payment submission under the real-time information reporting system for 2020-21 on or before that date. Let's look at an example to illustrate how the scheme might work. An employee normally works 5 days a week and earns £350 per week. Thus, he earns £70 per day. The business that they work for is suffering reduced sales due to coronavirus. Rather than making the employee redundant, they put the employee on the Job Support Scheme, under which he works 2 days a week, which is 40% of his usual hours, and thus satisfies the 1/3 working requirement. The employee is paid by the employer £140, which is 2 days at £70, for the 2 days that they actually work. The 3 days that are not worked is worth 3 times £70 equals £210. Of this amount, the employee will receive 2/3, that is £140. So in total, the employee receives £280, which represents 80% of their normal pay. The employer will be able to claim from the government a grant of £70, being 1/3 of the cost of the time that they are not working. which represents 20% of the normal wages. The cost to the employer varies with the amount of the number of days actually worked by the employee, as can be seen from this table. In addition to the above, the employer would also need to pay national insurance contributions and the pension contributions on the whole amount that is paid to the employee, even the part funded by the government. It's evident that for the benefit of a minimum of 1/3 of productive work, the employer will be expected to pay proportionately higher rates of pay than they currently do. Many employers may still decide to make some staff redundant, as it may be cheaper to make one member of staff work full-time rather than pay 2 or 3 staff under the job retention scheme on reduced hours. The Job Support Scheme expansion. The government's job support scheme will be expanded to protect jobs and support businesses required to close their doors as a result of coronavirus restrictions. This was announced by the Chancellor on the 9th of October. Under the expansion, firms whose premises are legally required to shut for some period over the winter as part of local or national restrictions will receive grants to pay the wages of staff who cannot work. The government aims to protect jobs, enable businesses to reopen quickly once restrictions are lifted. Under the scheme, employers will not be required to contribute towards wages and will only be asked to cover national insurance contributions and pension contributions, a very small proportion of the overall employment cost. It's estimated that half of the potential claimants are likely not to incur employers' national insurance costs or auto-enrolment pension costs, and so will face no employer contribution. The government will support eligible businesses by paying 2/3 of each employee's salary, up to a maximum of £2,100 a month. Businesses will only be eligible to claim the grant while they are subject to restrictions, and employees must be off work for a minimum of 7 consecutive days. The scheme will begin on the 1st of November and will be available for 6 months, with a review point in January. In line with the rest of the job support scheme, payments to businesses will be made in arrears via an HMRC claims service that will be available, they say, from early December. The scheme is UK-wide, and the UK government will work with devolved administrations to ensure that the scheme operates across all 4 nations. In addition to the expansion of the job support scheme, the government is increasing the cash grants to businesses in England's shut-in local lockdowns to support with fixed costs. Grants will be linked to rateable values, with up to £3,000 per month payable every 2 weeks, compared to up to £1,500 every 3 weeks, which was available previously. This could benefit hundreds of thousands of businesses, including restaurants, pubs, nightclubs, bowling alleys, and many more. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get notifications when we upload new videos. Bye for now.